Okay. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. This is the City of Cedar Rapids, 3 p.m. news conference on the storm response 2020. My name is Jeff Pomeranz. I'm City Manager, City of Cedar Rapids. We have a number of speakers today who will all be giving you important information regarding progress in our community as we come back from the storm of 2020. We appreciate, as I've said before, the opportunity to share information, and also want to thank all of our many partners working to support our community during this disaster. We simply could not do this alone. And our comeback and our response is based on not just our work, but the work of many partners. Work continues to many areas, and it's important to acknowledge, again, our appreciation of the offers of assistance that we've received from so many. I do want to mention a few of those partners. Partners like the City of Waterloo, City of Dubuque, Council Bluffs, Davenport, City of Des Moines, City of Cedar Falls, and North Liberty. Iowa cities have offered trucks and crews and generators for traffic signals, street equipment, park cleanup assistance, use of facilities, and staff to perform building assessments, and much, much more. So just listening to that list, you can see how much stronger we are together by utilizing not just our resources, but the resources of so many. And those are just a few of our partners. Our public works crews and partners are hauling thousands of truckloads of tree debris and quickly working to repair the remaining traffic signals and signs. On Wednesday, we collected approximately 2,500 truckloads of debris, bringing our total to 12,306 truckloads. This equates to 27,000 tons of debris that's been hauled away to various landfill facilities. Again, 27,000 tons. Utilities. Just want to mention one site, an area that has been a real bright spot has been our water and wastewater utilities. So often we find in situations such as this, cities lose their water, cities lose their wastewater capacity, and you have environmental impact as well as significant inconvenience. In this case, that didn't occur. We kept our utilities, our key utilities, water and wastewater going, and that was a tremendous asset as we responded to this crisis. Garbage crews continue to collect approximately 2 times more garbage than normal on their collection routes. On Monday, crews collected 211 tons of garbage, Monday before the storm hit. On Tuesday, crews collected 204 tons. Our water and wastewater usage data indicates a healthy return to operations. This is extremely important as we keep our economy going in Cedar Rapids. Our water and wastewater usage, again, in terms of wastewater treatment was down to 23 million gallons last week and started coming back and ramping back this Monday, reaching about 44 million gallons per day at present. Demand for water has also returned to typical levels. Production reached a low of about 20 million gallons per day following the storm last week. Production is now up to about 41 million gallons per day, which is within the average range of what we see for this time of year. The reason that's important, it shows that our economy is not slowing down. Our economy is coming back. We saw the impact, but we're also seeing recovery. Important for jobs in our community. 4 fire hydrants were damaged during the debris removal process, and they've been replaced and they're back in service. Crews continue to assess and mark hydrants in the field so debris removal crews can see them. We are asking residents to keep hydrants clear of debris as firefighters can access them as needed. So please keep those fire hydrants in mind. Police Department. Yesterday the police chief was here reporting on police activities within the community. Police averaged about 157 extra calls for service per day from August 10th through August 18th. A typical period average of calls, 354, and this increased to 511 calls per service per day during the past week. So this shows not just are we responding to the impact of the derecho, we are also feeling the impact on other services within the city. The city does not stop as it does one thing, it does multiple things. Our firefighters typically respond to about 37 calls per day, but averaged about 200 calls per day over the August 10th through 18th period. Parks. Park staff indicated 50% of the city's tree canopy was lost. As we're focusing on life safety, as we're focusing on getting critical services back to our community members, it's also something we're looking forward and talking about as to how we can replace the city's tree canopy in the future, one that's been so important to the quality of life in the city of Cedar Rapids. The impact is much higher because the trees that were destroyed were large and provided a higher percentage of benefits in terms of water quality, energy savings, stormwater retention than smaller trees. So you can replant, but it takes a long time to get to the benefits that the larger trees provide. Our Parks Department estimated that we lost at least $60 million in the structural value of the trees. Pre-storm, the structural value of the city's trees was about $115 million. More than 75% of street and park trees were impacted. Some parks have more than 30% tree loss, with few large trees remaining. Some good news, approximately 80% of commuter trails have been cleared for use, so we can get back to the use of our very important trails that so many enjoy. Communication, we've seen a great interest in the communication coming from our city's communication sources, our social media, our website. And we know that the media has been very, very helpful to us, but we're also pleased that so many utilize the city sources. Subscribers to CR News, Now text and email alerts started receiving critical messages from the city within hours of the storm. More than 1 million messages have been delivered to more than 45,000 users since the storm hit our community. And you can sign up for that service at www.crnewsnow.com. Our Facebook posts have been viewed by over 2 million individuals since the storm hit, and our Twitter posts have been viewed by over 500,000 individuals since the storm affected our community. We've also been very active providing information to residents on Nextdoor as well as other platforms. We continue to update the city's website, cedar-rapids.org, with resources and information regarding the city's response to the storm. Our resource page has been viewed by over 43,000 viewers since last Monday. Our resource centers, we have 5 neighborhood resource centers that provide information that's absolutely key to individuals, where you get food and water and other basic resources. The centers are open from 9 to 7 p.m. and are staffed with city employees and are very, very valuable volunteers. Daily update flyers are being posted at these locations. The resource centers will remain open at least through the end of August, August 30th, or until the need remains. Our library, some of us still don't have internet service. We want you to know that you can make an appointment at our library and utilize the technology at the library if you want to use Wi-Fi and the internet. And you dial 261-READ in order to make an appointment. Meals, food. I'd like to talk a little bit about Barbecue Relief and their response. We've had many, many individuals and nonprofits that have helped provide critical food to our citizens. When the storm hit, it was about a day later that I received a call from Pat Baird. Pat is the former CEO of Aegon Transamerica. And he said, how can I help? How can the Zach Johnson Foundation help? And I said, we're going to need food for our community. And not a little bit of food, but a lot of food. And Pat got right to work. He said, I've got the answer. I'll call you back. And he introduced us at that time to Barbecue Relief. And we're very, very pleased with the work that they've been doing in our community. And it's really been a great life support for our citizens. Barbecue Relief has the ability to serve 10,000 or more meals a day, 10,000 or more meals per day, and they've been doing that at a variety of sites. They've used our airport as the launching ground for preparation of the food. And this is quality food. It's great food. And Barbecue Relief believes in the power of barbecue, and that's something that they talk a lot about. But these meals are being served from noon to 2 p.m. and from 5 to 7. And again, this is just a variety of individuals who support this great organization. Before I introduce Barbecue Relief to you, I'd also like to mention, as we started to yesterday and the day before, we've received a lot of donations from the community. And I have to say, these are unsolicited. These are donations where companies have just called and said, you know, how can we help? How can we provide key assistance during this difficult time? And we introduced you a couple of days ago to Mid-American Energy as an example. We talked about Tax Act and the $100,000 donation from Tax Act. BAE is a new company that's coming to Cedar Rapids, and they called and said, how can we help? We're coming to Cedar Rapids. We believe in the community. How can we help? Barbecue Relief, another great example. But today, I received a phone call from Transamerica, and Transamerica is going to be making a $250,000 donation to United Way. And we very much appreciate that support, because United Way is an organization that is really meant to assist other nonprofits and social service entities as they do their work. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the citizens of Cedar Rapids who've been stepping up and volunteering and providing, again, not just donations, but much needed supplies and assistance. For us who are in the field doing our best, our city employees working 18-hour days, our partners working 18-hour days, it's very gratifying to have received the number of positive comments that we've received from members of our Cedar Rapids community. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Dwayne Daniel from Operation Barbecue Relief.
First of all, my name is Dwayne Daniel. I'm the Director of Disaster Coordination and Field Training with Operation Barbecue Relief. Manager Pomerantz, Mayor Hart, it is our pleasure to be in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Unfortunately, when we deploy to a community to do what we love, that community has had a very bad day. Our hearts go out to the victims and all the survivors of this weather event across the great state of Iowa. Our goal at OBR is to connect, inspire, serve, educate, and feed those in need in a community that one hot meal that matters. Another goal at OBR is to sustain a community when it can't sustain itself. I think we're all in agreement that with this weather event, the city of Cedar Rapids would have had a hard time sustaining itself. Last Thursday, Mr. Pat Baird with the Zach Johnson Foundation contacted me early evening with a request for assistance to the community of Cedar Rapids. After going through our checklist, a decision was made to deploy to Cedar Rapids to provide that one hot meal that matters. We arrived in town on Saturday with boots on the ground to get a general view of what we was after. Nothing ever goes unpunished. No good deed goes unpunished. After some logistical problems that we had beyond our control, our goal was to come in Sunday morning, set up and feed, and to provide meals at lunch. That didn't happen, we're sorry to say. But we did get out 4,850 meals on Sunday afternoon for dinner. Monday, we provided 11,000 meals. Tuesday was 9,850. Wednesday was 9,400, and that number will also be included today with 9,400, for a total of 44,500 meals since last Sunday. We also have a projection. We're going to try to be here through this coming week up until Tuesday, and we expect an average number of about 44,000 more meals being served into the community. That should be a total of about 89,000 total meals into the community of Cedar Rapids. We also have a big milestone tomorrow in our organization. A quick story here. 4 years ago yesterday, we was deployed in Hammond, Louisiana, and we served our 800,000th meal. We thought it was a great milestone. Tomorrow in the city of Cedar Rapids, I would like to extend an invitation to the city manager, to the mayor, any elected officials, and anyone that wants to come out to the airport. Tomorrow in the city of Cedar Rapids, we're going to serve our 8th millionth meal since our inception. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, Manager Pomerantz, the Zach Johnson Foundation, the Eastern Iowa Airport. Each of you have done an incredibly outstanding, amazing job supporting your community. I've been through many disasters in many towns, and the outpouring of reach and resources to organizations such as myself has just been absolutely outstanding. The citizens of Cedar Rapids, I cannot extend a big enough thank you from Operation Barbecue Relief. In closing, I would like to say one thing. As I said, I've been to many places around the country, been from coast to coast, been on about 22 different deployments with Operation Barbecue Relief. We have had, this is actually our 67th or 68th disaster in the 27th state. I was coming into the state, driving in, and I stopped at a convenience store, and I seen a T-shirt that said "Iowa Nice." I thought, wonder what that's about. So after a quick Google search, I read it, knew what it was about, and I can tell you from our perspective of being out in the community at nights after we finally gotten to where we could get our feet under us, some of the restaurants started opening up, some of the other stores that we needed supplies and stuff from. The citizens of Cedar Rapids is the epitome of the Iowa Nice. Thank you, Cedar Rapids.
Thank you, Dwayne. Remarkable work. I want to provide an update on our request to have individual assistance included in the President's disaster declaration. I spoke with the governor last night and again this morning, and she confirmed with me that that language to add individual assistance has been drafted and it's on the president's desk just waiting for his signature. That's terrific news for so many Iowans. There'll be a lot more information to come, but soon FEMA will set up a disaster line, and individuals will be able to go on there and register for assistance. We expect that you will need some basic information to do that, your Social Security number, your annual household income, although this isn't income-based. You'll need to provide contact information so they can reach back out to you. Your insurance information, what kind of coverage you have, the insurance company, and then also your bank account information so that if you're eligible, they can send your assistance directly to your bank account. There's much more to do. The FEMA will likely set up some sites around town to help people apply. The city will also help with that. There'll be hotspots available at our neighborhood resource centers. And there will be computer assistance, as Jeff mentioned, at the downtown library. So when this is up and running with FEMA, we will do all we can to help people apply for the assistance that they can get. I think people need to understand that businesses are not eligible for this individual assistance, and the maximum amount right now in Iowa anyone can receive is $33,000. It is really important to know that the individual assistance does not include help with the cost of tree debris removal. It's not part of what we can recover right now, but we are working hard to advocate for that additional assistance, and as our senators and our congresswoman are working, and our governor, working hard to have that included, because that's we have lots of needs, but that's a critical need for everyone in Cedar Rapids. So we're going to keep working hard to try to advocate for that, and we won't quit until we either get it or we've run out of options, but we'll continue to do that. I know so many of us are really struggling. This is an incredibly difficult time for our community and for so many people in our community, and you can't give up hope. We're making real progress, and we'll continue to make real progress. We'll continue to make that progress until we're back and strong, maybe stronger than ever. So don't give up hope. We'll do this work, and we'll move forward more quickly if we do it together. So hang in there, everyone. We're doing all we can, and we'll get back. Thank you. Next is Joel Schmidt with Alliant Energy.
Thanks, Mayor Hart. Again, I'm Joel Schmidt with Alliant Energy. Before I jump in with a restoration update, I thought it'd be fitting to tell you what we're hearing at the front lines. These are from all of our new out-of-state friends, out-of-country friends, those that have worked more than a storm or two. We believe this is one of, if not the worst natural disasters in our electric industry history. Comments we're hearing from contractors, frontline, tree trimmers, people that are working in emergency ops centers that have come from long distances. Worst I have ever seen. Unbelievable. Toughest conditions by far. Now, these are as of 6 o'clock this morning update. We continue to make progress, but I want to give this data out. In Linn County, we have made power available to nearly 83% of the homes and businesses who were affected by last week's storms. And 16,675 homes and businesses in Linn County were still without power as of 6, including those homes and businesses so damaged that they cannot take power at this time. In Cedar Rapids, nearly 77% of customers had power available to them as of 6 this morning, but approximately 15,000 customers remained without power at that time. To give you a little more detail, because I know there's been questions about the various quadrants of our fine city, the impacts. Of those 15,000, about 33% were in the northwest quadrant, 29% in the southeast, 26% in the southwest, and 12% in the northeast. We have and continue to have crews in all these areas working to restore power, which is our mission. We restored about 3,800 customers yesterday. We have made further progress today and every day since Monday, and we continue to work day and night to quickly and safely make power available to each and every home. Of course, I realize this is of little comfort to the customers who still do not have power available to them. You may be wondering, why are thousands still without power in Cedar Rapids and Linn County? Let me back up a little bit to Monday afternoon. As soon as the storm passed, we immediately began requesting outside crews. The first call we could trace was placed at 1:15 p.m. Monday. We started sending crews to assess damage and to start rebuilding the circuits while ITC Midwest began restoring transmission services. In Cedar Rapids, crews were working in quadrants across the city, first preparing the circuits for the transmission to be restored to our substations. This step, restoration of transmission, was among the most critical steps to getting power back for all customers. Once the circuits were powered, we could begin delivering power back to essential services and then focus on areas that would restore power to the greatest number of customers possible. As crews were working to rebuild our circuits, they were also starting to raise power poles and install new wiring. Way to think of our system is like a tree. The roots are the transmission lines. They feed the tree with water and nutrients to power its growth. The trunk is the substation. It provides the stability of the power to the tree to stand. The limbs are the circuits, taking power to your town and neighborhoods. The branches are the lines connecting your streets to the power. The leaves are your homes and businesses. And now we are reconnecting each one to restore energy. For some homes and businesses, it's just not safe to reconnect power to your dwellings. But unlike fallen leaves, when homes and businesses are repaired, we will be ready and waiting to reconnect your power. We will restore the electric system. But as I said yesterday, we and all our neighborhoods are forever changed. But I am confident our Iowa Strong spirit will be stronger than ever. Some have asked if we could bring in more people to work on restoration to make things go faster. We continue to supplement with additional new resources and redeploying others as more work moves to backyards and individual homes. So we've moved from the roots to the trunks to the limbs. Now we're on the branches and leaves. Think of this process as a gathering after a large family dinner. After dinner, there are a lot of dishes to do. And there's a specific process in order to clearing things up. Dishes are gathered, they are washed, rinsed, and dried, stacked, and put away. If everyone got up from the table and all started washing the dishes at the same time, it becomes crowded and inefficient. There just isn't enough room for everyone at the sink to do the same job all at once. So we follow a process. Some people gather, some people rinse and wash, others dry and stack, while others put the dishes away. The same holds true for where we are with our final restoration efforts in the Cedar Rapids area. We follow a process, and everyone has a job along the way, and everyone stays on task, focused on the job. And we multiply this process across every quadrant of the city, every block of the city, and manage this simultaneously. There is always work being done. There's always progress being made as safe and quickly as possible. Remember, even when you do not see us, we are working towards you to make power available to you. And as we work and follow our processes, you can do your part. As you clear the debris and trees from your yard, keep the following in mind. If you see downed power lines, assume they are live. Please call us to report the downed lines. If you've already called, thank you. Please call us again. 1-800-ALLIANT. 800-255-4258. You can also fill out a form on our website to report a down line under the Report an Emergency section. Our trucks are using the areas cleared by the National Guard. please don't place more trees and debris there. It prevents our crews from getting to the space they need to connect your home and the homes on your street and in your neighborhood. Call 811 to mark lines before digging. If your home or business sustained damage and your restoration efforts involve digging, please call 811 or visit the Iowa One Call website for information on scheduling a utility locate before beginning a project. It's for your safety, the safety of our crews, and keeps the power on for your entire neighborhood. If the electrical lines have been torn from your house or the electric meter power pole with mast that is attached to your home has been damaged, call a licensed electrician to fix it. This way, when our crews come to reconnect your home, they can do so safely. Otherwise, it will cause further delay because you own the equipment that brings electricity into your home, and it must be in good working order. Thank you for your ongoing patience and support of our crews and the hundreds of crews from around the country and Canada who continue to work safely each and every day to restore your service. And our continued thanks to all of our customers for your support of the crews. We've had crews travel here who have worked on hurricanes for decades, as I mentioned earlier, and they have said the damage here in Cedar Rapids after this storm is the worst many of them have ever seen in their illustrious careers. And they have also shared that Iowans are the nicest people they have ever met in a time of crisis. I tip my hat to all Iowa for that. Thank you for your support. We know we will power through this together. And finally, continued thanks to all of our county, state, federal, the governor, leaders for their support as well. And now I'll turn it over to Travis Thomas from Mid-American.
Thanks, Joel. As he said, I'm Travis Thomas with Mid-American Energy, and we can definitely relate to the challenges that go along with restoring electric to our customers. And I'll reiterate what he just said, as we have approximately 80 electric resources in Cedar Rapids right now helping with the restoration. And we've heard the same thing. It's the worst ever, worst they've ever seen. And our gas employees out there in the field, coming across some of the contractors from out of town that have responded to hurricane relief efforts in the past, they're telling us the same thing. It's the worst they've ever seen. So we're all definitely in it together and facing these same challenges together. But from a gas perspective, our operations side, we're good. After the storm on the 10th, all of our gas services, gas mains that were uprooted, broken, have been put back together. If your home has not received gas, it's probably because there's some issues beyond the meter, whether it be customer fuel line broken or the city has deemed the building or home inhabitable. So in those cases, we have gone out and shut the gas off. But currently, we have resources out doing leak survey throughout your neighborhoods, basically walking all the underground gas lines, just to make sure we haven't missed anything. But every call that the community has given to us, we have responded to and completed. If you do not have gas, call us. We'll do an assessment. As always, if you smell gas, please call us. We'll be there ASAP. We still currently have resources working around the clock, 24/7. As Catherine Kunert mentioned the other day when she was here, you might have seen some people out in the community today wearing these shirts, these CARES shirts. We had, between yesterday and today, upwards of 250 volunteers out in the communities helping clean up. We received some locations from the city of areas in town that could use help. That's what we've been doing the last 2 days. We also delivered upwards of 60 generators to people in need and some businesses in need. So if you see people out and about wearing these CARES t-shirts from Mid-American Energy, that's what we're doing. And the last thing I wanted to mention, and probably the most important, demolition of buildings, homes. If a home or property or building is going to be demolished, the owner needs to call us, and contractors need to contact the city to obtain a demo permit. That lets us know, just in case somebody does not call. Obviously, we don't want anybody tearing down a building where we have live gas going to that building. So it benefits all the utilities, not just Mid-American Energy. So please, everyone, go through the proper procedures of notifying us to have your gas shut off, notify the city, so all utilities get notified as a property, building, home, whatever it might be, get demolished. Up next, Lisa Radigan from IMON Communications.
Thank you, and good afternoon. IMON follows closely behind the work of the power companies, similar to today's press conference. Immediately after the storm, 100% of IMON customers were down in Cedar Rapids, Marion, and Hiawatha. And IMON's plant suffered significant damage. Currently, as of about 2:00 p.m. today, just over 55% of IMON customers are back up with restored services. Many customers came up immediately when their power was restored, and others came up when it was safe for our technicians to safely access their neighborhoods and or their businesses to reconnect them. With that said, I want to remind everyone how important it is to make sure that debris is cleaned up to the degree on your property that IMON technicians can access your property, access the IMON lines, and where those lines enter your home or business. It's very important. We encourage IMON customers to report if their service is down at myimon.com. You'll see a link to a storm page, and then there's a form there you can fill out. We're communicating with those customers when our technicians will be in their neighborhoods to restore services. Now, we certainly understand that if you don't have internet in your home, sometimes it's difficult to access those online resources. Wanted to take this opportunity to remind everyone that IMON provides free community Wi-Fi in several locations throughout Cedar Rapids, including downtown and areas near Green Square Park, the McGrath Amphitheater, Nubo City Market, and in the area around the Ladd Library on Williams Boulevard Southwest. So these are areas where you can safely social distance, but also have access to the internet to get those online resources that you need. Thank you so much for the opportunity today.
Good afternoon. Jen Winter, the city's Public Works Director. I'll just be giving a brief status report today. Yesterday, we published a map that helps give a high-level overview of our progress, and we will continue to update this map daily. Again, while we are not able to predict exactly when we will be at specific streets and neighborhoods, we hope this provides residents with a general idea of our progress, and as always, we appreciate your patience. As of this afternoon, we have completed a first pass on hauling approximately 14% of our roadway routes. We have approximately 53% of these routes prepped for hauling, and approximately 33% of these routes are still in progress. I want to remind residents, when possible, to please remove vehicles that are parked on the street to give crews room to work. If you do need to park on the street, we have asked residents to voluntarily follow our odd-even rule that we follow during snow emergencies. Regarding our traffic signals, we have re-energized 163 of our 191 signals. We anticipate all signal restoration by Saturday for any signals where power has been restored. After this week, we will also begin focusing on re-energizing our pedestrian signals to increase pedestrian safety. Our sign crews continue to replace our critical roadway signs throughout the community. Again, I'd like to remind residents, our crews are dealing with a staggering volume of debris on every street in this city. We continue to appreciate your patience and understanding as we work through these neighborhoods. Thank you. Up next is our Police Chief, Wayne German.
Good afternoon. I'd like to begin by reminding everyone that the daily curfew is still in effect. That begins at midnight and runs to 6 a.m. Now, this curfew does not apply to those who are commuting directly back and forth from work, and it also does not apply to taxi cabs, Ubers, or Lyfts when they are responding to and transporting individuals who have been discharged from a hospital or medical facility, or the driver is conducting a necessary transport. As I mentioned yesterday, after a disaster, contractors often go door to door in these damaged neighborhoods offering cleanup and repair services. While many of these individuals are trustworthy and honest, unfortunately, others are not as reputable. They seek to take advantage of our vulnerable residents. Oftentimes, these bad actors collect payment and then they disappear without completing the work that they promised to do. Typically, these disaster repair scams are unsolicited, beginning with a visit from a contractor who seeks to help storm victims rebuild. Before hiring any contractor, we urge you to call your insurance company. There's no need to rush into any agreement with these contractors who solicit your repair work, especially if you did not request this work. We've posted information on our website, on the police department Facebook page, and we also have brochures available from the National Insurance Crime Bureau, and these brochures are available at our neighborhood resource centers. Finally, the City of Cedar Rapids has created a resource page for community members to get more information about hiring a reputable contractor. You can find this information at cedar-rapids.org/home repair. And now I'll introduce from the Eastern Iowa Airport, Marty Linn.
Thank you. First, I would just want to say on behalf of the airport and the Airport Commission, and we have one commissioner here, Mary Meisterling, today, we want to say thank you to the city teams for all the long days and energy they're pouring into getting CR back on their feet. Signs of progress are truly visible in all areas of the city. We also want people to know the airport is open and flights are operating normally. Immediately following the storm, CID teams split into small groups and quickly did damage assessments across our campus. Debris was removed from our main runway, and operations were restored within an hour after the storm. In fact, about 2 hours after the storm, we had our first arrival. There were a few airlines, approximately 3, that had to divert while derecho was upon us. A very high-level damage assessment of the airport. The most damage was sustained to the roof, a complete roof loss to our public safety facility. But as of yesterday, I'm happy to report that roof has been completely replaced. Several other buildings took roof damage, siding damage, automated weather reporting systems were offline. Windsocks, of course, are somewhere in Illinois. Many of those are also been replaced. Numerous vehicle gates were down. We had numerous holes throughout our perimeter fence as baggage carts became projectiles and ran through the fence. With all of that chaos, we are happy to report that there were no injuries reported at the airport or anywhere on the airport campus. As of today, and we're still pulling damage estimates together, total damage estimate stands at about $750,000. I also want to thank the Iowa City partners, specifically Josh Schomburg, who helped arrange for over 300 loaves of bread today to be delivered to help in Operation Barbecue Rescue. There are several other Iowa City teams working throughout the city and helping to clear debris. We're also very happy to be working with the city, Zach Johnson Foundation, in hosting Operation Barbecue Relief. I also would like to thank Alliant Energy. 80% of the airport campus power was restored within the first week, and 100% was restored earlier this week. So in closing, just a shout out and a truly appreciation for all the the hard work of the city teams, the airport teams, in keeping us up and operational as a critical service to the community. And with that, Peter Tian with the Red Cross.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Tian with the American Red Cross. Since the onset of this disaster, we've provided over 1,000 overnight shelter and hotel stays to the residents, 800 overnight stays at hotels, which include 71 that stayed there last night. We've had 250 in our congregate shelters, which is now at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, and we had 67 residents there last night. We have plenty of space in the shelter. Please, if you need a safe place, a place for food, a place to stay cool as it gets hot out this weekend, come to the shelter. And as there's plenty of space, and as hotel rooms open up, we'll go to move you into the hotels from the actual shelter downtown. We've distributed over 20,000 meals, 3,500 cases of water, and continue to work with barbecue operation and relief operation, Salvation Army, Zach Johnson Foundation, and other community and state volunteer organizations as we move towards a transition of food services in the community. We've delivered over 3,000 supplies and made 1,400 health services, mental health, and disability integration checks. So, and that's all being done with 225 Red Cross volunteers who have come in from around the country and are supporting us either on the ground or virtually. Pleased to announce that tomorrow there will be a formal announcement of a program for financial assistance for those who have suffered from being either totally destroyed or receiving major damage. That program, the details of how to apply for that will be announced through the media tomorrow. It is related to an applicant's primary residence. Major damage is indicated by significant structural damage that requires extensive repairs and may include substantial failure of the roof, walls, or foundation, or a water line above 18 inches. A residence that is destroyed is one that is a total loss with damage so intensive that repair is not feasible. So it's, watch the news. When we make the announcement and give you the contact number, please check with us so we can get you assistance. All assistance of the American Red Cross, including our financial, is available to individuals regardless of nationality, race, sexual orientation, religious belief, class, or political opinions. The Red Cross is a charity, not a government agency, and people do not need to be an American citizen to receive financial assistance or other services from the Red Cross. I've also been asked to announce that, or talk a little bit about the mental health aspect. There are a lot of people, all of us, probably in this room, and everyone we run into in the streets, that are exhausted. We are exhausted by COVID, and now that we're day 11 of this incident, our tempers and our feelings are getting a little fragile. You may find people that are trouble getting their breath, sweating, their exaggerated startle reactions. They have memory problems, difficult, naming objects, feeling high, feeling low, having high anxiety, excessive worry about their safety. They may have outbursts of anger and increased use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, and even social withdrawing. These are typically normal reactions to an abnormal event. You're not going crazy. It is, and a lot of people out there say, I don't need mental health services. What you need is to take a break. Maybe take the evening off, get something good to eat, let the work be there, talk to your family, talk to your community partners and say, just vent. And if you find that's not enough, we have great resources in this area, and they can be accessed by calling 211. Our goal, this is the beginning of a long road to recovery. You know, let's stick together, build together, and continue to build a strong community by supporting each other in these difficult times. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our prepared agenda. If the speakers can come close by, we will take questions. I will repeat the questions for those that are watching online.
Yeah, this is for Mayor Hart. With this FEMA application being on the president's desk, can you form updated timeline on when people will be able to begin to apply that assistance?
The question was for Mayor Hart about the timeline of possible FEMA assistance.
The addition to the disaster declaration needs to be signed, and hopefully it's going to be signed today. The FEMA director and the head of the Region 6 or 7 in Kansas City, they've been here already, so I expect that, I don't have a definitive time period, but they know, and they've been here and seen this disaster. The head of FEMA said he's never seen anything like this. So I expect that as soon as that FEMA will be here very quickly, and they've been here already, and they'll get set up very quickly. That's all I really know right now.
On the tree damage, potential payments that aren't covered, it seems like they're trying to work and get that changed. Who makes the call on that?
It's either the president or Congress may have to make that change. So unfortunately, I think it's a big ask, but that's the real need we have, and we're going to keep asking for that. And I think anyone who has seen anything that's happened here will understand that that's a critical need for our community.
Just in case anybody didn't hear that, that was a question about the addition of tree removal as part of that FEMA coverage. We have additional questions?
And one for someone from the city. We've done several stories and have heard others about landlords not helping residents or even refusing people to come in and help those residents. Is there anything that the city can do now and down the road about those landlords that are just not being responsive?
Okay, the question was about landlords and if there's anything the city is able to do to help residents if the landlords aren't able to assist. We'll have Kevin Ciabatti with our Building Services Department here to help answer that question.
So first, we have reached out to all the landlords that when we found about these situations. We have made contact with all of them. We've also engaged with the legal aid to help us at the resource centers. They're at the resource centers taking intake on some of these cases. So they were taking that information at those centers to assist those tenants.
Do you know what that assistance will consist of?
I'm not necessarily. The lease is between an owner and a tenant, so they would take up their case with the individual landlords if there's any sort of case that could help them in terms of any sort of future assistance with that landlord.
But you guys aren't necessarily going out and helping them find new places to live or anything like that?
We are encouraging those landlords to do that. That is really between them, and unfortunately, but that is really upon them to find those other locations for them. And we have heard there have been a few landlords that we have actually spoke with that have been locating other tenants in some of their other units, which is encouraging. We know there's a little bit of delay because some of those landlords didn't have places for them to go. I've heard of at least one of them that was reaching out to other landlords in other apartment complexes and even outside of the city in some cases to assist. But at this point, that's all we have.
And I can add a little bit to that. Those who need a safe place, who do not have a place to live, can't get their deposit to move on, please come to the Veterans Memorial Building and their shelter, and Red Cross will work with you to make sure that you're in a safe place and until further action can be taken that will help them move into a more permanent location.
Yeah, for Linn Energy, I know that these last houses that need to get back online, you mentioned that these are the most challenging houses in some respects. Obviously, some of them I'm sure there's a lot of damage there, but what are some of the main challenges that you guys see in these final houses?
The question was for Linn Energy about what are the main challenges that you're facing with these last homes and businesses you're trying to get back online.
Thanks for the question. Yeah, challenges was the strongest word I think we could come up with. It's just the uniqueness. In essence, it's 15,000 answers because each house, each neighborhood, each tree, but it's just the massive destruction. When you think of the tons of debris that are taken out of a block or blocks of the city, you just got everything just to get there. And like I said, it's the last parts of the spokes that are coming out. So it varies, but it's everything from transformers with communication wires, with electrical wires, with everything else, fence, other things, basically just wound together. So part of it is getting to the area, and then it's doing the very professional work that needs to be done to put services in place. So I know that's not a very good answer, but it really depends on each house and each business. But we have the experience to do it. We know we can do the job. It's just the magnitude of this and of this storm across the state that's taking the time. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have one for Peter. The financial assistance that the Red Cross is offering for homes that have major damage or are destroyed, is that determined by placards from the city, or is there a different threshold that families have to meet for that money?
The question was regarding the Red Cross assistance and what the qualifications would be for that assistance.
The American Red Cross has damage assessment teams out, and we're also working with the City of Cedar Rapids and other communities, and we create the damage assessment reports, then that share with other agencies and go up. So if a family calls our 1-800-RED Cross number, we'll get their information, we'll take a look at our damage assessment reports, and then that'll be the way it gets determined on assistance. If there's a question, of what we have in our report and they're saying something different, then we'll deploy one of our volunteers out and take a personal inspection of that site to make sure that it's completely accurate on their damage for them. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know who this would be for, but for elderly residents who can't leave their homes, what are some of the resources that have been available to those people?
The question was about resources. What resources are available for elderly residents in the community?
The best choice right now is to contact by coming to the Red Cross shelter or calling 1-800-RED Cross. We'll assess their needs and their ability to perhaps stay in the shelter where we have health services available there. We'll work with them, and if need to, we have other resources available for special cases so that they're taken care of and safe. The goal is to make sure everyone is in a safe place, have food and taken care of, and we recognize there's unique needs for every family and every individual, and we'll address that. That's our primary goal.
Okay, that looks like that's all the questions. Thank you very much.